Out of Irvine, California. Paul?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Somewhere in there is an investor for ClearFlow D-Round. ClearFlow is a commercial stage medical device company with a Class 2 catheter system aimed at cardiothoracic surgery. We're already on the market in the United States and in Europe with 510Ks and CE mark. So we're raising growth capital to build out the product portfolio and also expand our commerce operations. We have a growing direct sales organization in the United States and a product pipeline that gets us beyond cardiothoracic surgery into numerous other medical catheter markets. Our technology, really the IP around it, is aimed at catheter clearance. So if you think about medical catheters that include in the clinical and economic penalties that include occlusion, our IP portfolio creates a platform to resolve catheter occlusion very broadly, and our first technologies are in cardiothoracic surgery. I'm the first CEO of the company. This is my fifth such privately funded business. I've had 3 exits out of the last 4. I also serve on the board of numerous medical device companies, and all of the team that is at ClearFlow have similar backgrounds, public corporations, but also privately funded and venture funded, and very experienced. Most notably, our sales and marketing team added last year backgrounds in companies like Edwards and Merit Medical. So a very, very solid management team to execute going forward. What is the problem we address? Retained blood is pro-inflammatory and is at the heart of numerous morbidities after surgery, post-op AFib, acute kidney injury, pleural effusions, and so on. And it occurs ubiquitously because all catheters occlude. The rate of occlusion is 36%. That's from a study at Cleveland Clinic, but you don't know which 36%. So basically all catheters have to be protected. The total market in the United States involves any cardiothoracic procedure that receives a chest drain, i.e. all of them, more than 1 million procedures. 2 of our devices per procedure times $400 per device makes this $1 billion market. If you look at the benefit and the problem combined, we address millions of patients every year who are staying longer in the ICU, who suffer significant, sometimes life-threatening complications because of retained blood, because of tube blockages. This is what it looks like. It's a typical conventional chest drain, channel drain, or regular PVC drain. It doesn't matter. They all occlude because plastic's very thrombogenic. And now we know that retained blood causes harm. We have a simple magnetically actuated catheter to maintain tube patency. We have numerous patents around the methods of actuation, from electromagnetic mechanical systems to this one, which is a magnetically actuated system that the nurse drives using just hand motions 4 times an hour. It's very effective. It disrupts clot very effectively, keeps the tube open. And we have numerous device iterations for all kinds of surgical procedures. So from cardiac, we can move easily into thoracic, to trauma, and with smaller sizes into total hip, total knee, total shoulder, and ultimately beyond into other procedures. So the suite of products will be upgraded next year with a fully automated system. This is for larger centers where labor and nurse time workflow is an issue. Something like Cleveland Clinic, which is our major customer. That's our biggest customer, one of our oldest customers. It does about 14,000 cardiothoracic procedures a year. That's 10 years of nurse time managing chest drains. So eliminating nurse time with an automated system that cleans these tubes automatically is very valuable. This device has been through animals already and is going through V&V in 2020. Our IP portfolio is extensive, 29 issued patents internationally, 12 issued patents in the United States. So if I ask you how many ways are there to clean the inside of a fish tank without getting your hands wet, just parlay that into how many ways are there to clean the inside of a medical catheter without breaking the sterile field, without exiting the catheter, without withdrawing anything into the catheter. So doing that safely, repeatedly, and effectively is actually quite simple, but there aren't many ways to do it, and we've patented, I think, most of the ways that it can be done. We have completed numerous clinical studies, most recently a randomized clinical trial at Montreal Heart, almost 700 patients. Very, very extensive positive results, strong p-values for major reductions in morbidities. And we have our science published on the cover of the Annals of Thoracic Surgery in January of 2018. So if you look at the picture there on the left, that shows a catheter placed in the anterior mediastinum in front of the heart, and is there designed to remove blood. The article goes on to say how the process of red cell hemolysis, white cell recruitment, the pro-inflammatory milieu that develops as a result of that can trigger post-operative atrial fibrillation, PAF. That occurs around 50% of the time in cardiac surgery procedures. So extensive clinical evidence, very strong economic evidence, and now we have JAMA surgery publishing guidelines to recommend that chest drains be actively cleaned after surgery to prevent retained blood. So we're at the point now where this is due to become a standard of care, and the cash that we're raising is going into exploiting the growth. We have already well over 100 customers in the United States. Our largest customers generate around $300,000 of revenue a year. We think that all 625 cardiothoracic centers in the United States will use our product all the time, every day in the future. That's a $1 billion US market. So we have a scalable model in place, and we have a portfolio of products to follow on from our cardiothoracic business that address numerous procedures outside of cardiothoracic. If you think about it, patients who have hepatitis or cancer also suffer from effusions or abdominal ascites or thoracic ascites or pleural effusions, and those catheters occlude, and we can treat those occlusions as well with our technology. So we have a broad platform, and we're raising money to create the standard of care. The uses of cash goes into our sales organization primarily, expanding in international, and also launching our new products. Our pre-money on the last round was in the high 40s. We raised $7.5 million about a year ago to fund the effort that I'm talking about right now. I would expect valuations at an exit to be in the 10x of revenues. So if you can just look forward to $10 million, $20 million, you can get to $100 million, $200 million exits. That should give you some idea about how to calculate pre-money going into this round. But we certainly have strategic interest already. We've had term sheets from private equity last year for $50 million that we turned down for acquisition in a roll-up kind of strategy. We want to build a company here in the $200 to $300 million exit valuations in the next 3 years, and that's what the $50 million is for. So within time to stop, I'd like to take questions if you're open. Thank you. Does this mean no one has any money? So you can go to clearflow.com and find our website, and we have a data room and a full prospectus available for potential investors. Just please feel free to get in touch. Thanks for your time.
Okay, the next company up in the Medtech Entrepreneur session is Cara Nova.
Thank you very much. The large unmet need in heart failure is the need to treat acute heart failure, where you have a short-term episode where there's not enough blood pumping out of your body. There's about 1 million people a year who are hospitalized for acute heart failure syndrome in the US. And short-term, 5 to 7 day circulatory support is needed to support these patients so they can recover or get another type of treatment. And existing pumps can be used, but they're problematic because they have invasive blood contact, which leads to many adverse events. And in addition, about 25% of the population is not even eligible to use existing devices. And this is just an example. It shows existing devices like intra-aortic balloon pumps, the Impella pump, tandem heart, and VA ECMO pumps you can see that they either sit inside the heart or they're connected outside the body with large amounts of blood contact. And that's really bad because blood contact can cause up to 5 to 15% rate of stroke in only 5 days. Also causes kidney inflammation in 20 to 40% of the patients. It causes a lot of bad effects because basically the blood tries to attack these devices because the things are a foreign organism, and that leads to clotting and stroke and other adverse events. And in addition, there's about 25% of patients that can't use existing devices because you can't insert them. You can see the Impel and Tandem Heart and intra-aortic balloon pump, they're all inserted through the femoral artery through your leg. And if you have peripheral arterial disease, like 10 to 15% of the population, your arteries are calcified and they can't be inserted. In addition, about 25% of the population actually has failure of both ventricles, left and right, and they need biventricular assist. And these devices on the left only have single ventricle assist. The device on the right is a full heart-lung bypass machine, which is biventricular, but it has by far the highest rate of adverse events. So we've developed a new type of cardiac assist device for heart failure by Cara Nova. We've been supported by Wellcome Trust, which is sort of the UK equivalent of the Gates Foundation, 26 billion in assets in England, giving us 5 million in support so far, is coming in this year for another million in this round. We've also been supported by the Texas Medical Center Venture Fund, and we're resident in Johnson & Johnson's J-Labs space in the Texas Medical Center. Our device is a new generation of cardiac assist device with no blood contact. It's biventricular. It's rapidly implanted as direct cardiac compression. This next animation shows how we can take the device, which is thin film polyurethane on a nitinol wire frame, fold it in a 1-inch delivery tube, and then do a mini left thoracotomy between 2 left side ribs, and deploy the device inside the pericardial sac because it's so thin. Then we have inner chambers that we fill with saline in order to conform it to the heart shape, and then we have outer chambers that we inflate very gently with air in order to squeeze the heart, like a surgeon would squeeze the heart with his hand in surgery, and thereby increase the cardiac output of the patient. We can increase the output 50%, which is the difference between life or death. This device is rapidly implanted. You can see here how quickly it went onto the sheep in an animal study. There's no direct attachment to the heart. We've done over 55 deployments successfully during 23 one-day large animal studies in acute and chronic heart failure. We can get the device in humans to activation according to our thought leaders within 10 minutes with a 20 to 30 minute total surgery time, which is better than or equal to other short-term devices. And it's considered by doctors to be less invasive than minimally invasive aortic valve replacement. So this promises widespread adoption of the device. It enhances cardiac motion, and that's what increases output. On the left, you see the heart is pumping, but not very well. The device is off. On the right, we turn the device on, and you can see that enhanced motion, that gentle squeezing that's increasing cardiac output 50%. It can also be easily explanted after short-term use. You can see here how quickly and easily it comes out. We had an easy explant after a pilot 5-day safety study. We've had an excellent observed safety profile to date in all of our 23 studies. The current market is quite large, actually, for short-term cardiac assist. Abiomed Impella is a publicly traded company that addresses this market. They have almost an $8 billion market cap. It's an estimated $4 billion addressable market, about $1 billion in sales, about 20% growth annually. And by addressing those other patients, we can expand that market by up to 50%, by $2 billion, by addressing patients that need biventricular support, patients that can't use anticoagulants, patients that the arteries won't allow access with the existing devices. We've had $12 million in funding to date, which is de-risk it for our device, something for high potential return. As I said, we have proof of concept in 23 studies. A computer simulation model has confirmed our results. We have a great durability and safety factor for intended use. We need about $12 million to complete our first in-human study with a potential $250 to $450 million return. We've got significant cardiac assist device experience on the team. Boris Lashinsky, our VP Product Development, is former VP Technology at Datascope. Invented another LVAD that was sold by Thortec for between $300 and $500 million when it was sold to St. Jude. Then we also have John Crissione, our founder, is a professor at Texas A&M, came with the technology. And Jonathan Williams is a consultant, former VP of Engineering at Datascope, who's designing our pneumatic driver and has extensive experience in the Class 3 medical devices. We have a world-class team of advisors. Bill Abraham has been a PI in over 100 cardiovascular studies. Susan Alford is former Chief Regulatory Officer of Medtronic, former head of the FDA for devices. Dan Burkhoff is at the Cardiovascular Research Foundation, former VP at Heartware. Bill Hunter invented the co-inventor of the Taxus drug-eluting stent, a business advisor. George Lutzu, a Texas Heart surgical advisor. And Billy Cohn is head of the Center for Device Innovation and Johnson & Johnson Innovation, another surgical advisor, did dynamic animal studies. We've got strong patent protection as a significant break from the prior art with 15 US patents issued, one of the most important dating from only 2015, and 13 international patents. We've received strong validation and support as our technology is approved. Before we got Welcome Trust support, we got about $1.5 million from NIH and Texas Emerging Technology Fund. Went through a year-long, very competitive application process with Welcome Trust in 2015, resulting in a $6 million translation fund award. And then we were selected for Johnson & Johnson J-Labs in 2016 and decided to increase our public profile after that to bring our technology to the attention of people. As you can see, won numerous awards. Second place Innovation Award in China in 2017, first place at the Innovation Conference here in 2017, Shark Tank competition at the Cardiovascular Research Foundation, first place prize for a potential technology for pediatrics that could be transformative. And in 2018, we received support from the Texas Medical Center Venture Fund. We're selected by Boston Scientific for an incubator. In 2019, we were voted at the Angel Capital Association as being among the top 3 best investment potential of all the companies that were presented among 700 angel investors. And we also got a grant for the proof of diastolic heart failure for our device, a major publication in 2019. Anyway, comparable devices have achieved 250 to 450 million cash exits with only 10 patients of data. And that's our goal, is to get this to first in human. 10 patients data and exit, so we can begin the first in human trial within 24 months, finish that first in human study in another 12, and at that point hopefully have a major exit or partnering point, and after that will be a 20 patient safety study. Dr. Navin Kapoor, Tufts Medical Center, says our device is a potential game changer in the field of heart failure, and invited us to a major conference on heart failure in Paris in December, where we presented with other folks in the field. Texas Medical Center Venture Fund has said we could revolutionize the market like the pacemaker. And just recently, a top 20 heart hospital we approached for cooperation in a design of our first in human study were extremely enthusiastic, and so they thought the technology has a ton of clinical applications. They were enthusiastic about engaging with us. So we hope that some of you may want to engage with us as well, and we'd be happy to entertain and talk about investments for our next round or other areas of cooperation. Thank you. And so I guess at this point I'm open for any questions, if there may be any at this point. Okay, if not, I guess I'll hand it over to the next speaker. Thank you for your attention.
The next company in the medical technology pitch session is Physio Cube, a company out of San Jose, California. Simon?
Okay, so our company is a 5 years company, started from the Silicon Valley to San Jose, and we are just focused for this hypertension and headache and migraine area, because hypertension is a global issue. There's many people outside, they have a very strong hypertension, but it's still silent killer. But many people take medication, but interesting is more than 50% of the people, they are not taking medication because medicine is still side effect, and also food very hard to control. So they are looking for another solution. So we made one handheld device, a non-invasive device, just using the 5 minutes for this ROD. Try to find your ROD and then just press the ROD to the 5 minutes, and then we can decrease the blood pressure right away. So example is the people to blood pressure is 148, 161 to 97. just using this device for 5 minutes, their blood pressure dropped to 140 to 84. So we can decrease the blood pressure very quickly, easily. So many people ask is what's going on, what is the mechanism? So mechanism is a vagoreceptor stimulation. So vagoreceptor stimulation is very well known to the internal medical doctor. To somebody blood pressure higher, they just massage it to the artery and then they can decrease the blood pressure. But it's key is for this whenever massage it to the artery side and then they just the blood pressure drop, but it's very quickly go back. But we found this specific some temperature and the micro vibration to stimulation to artery, and time is longer and longer. So because the signal going to your brain nervous system to decrease the your blood pressure drop down. So we have a 60 patient testing. This 60 patient never take medication. So every day they just using the device for 5 minutes for the daily to stimulation. After 5 minutes, and then after 68 days later, we got 87% of people they can decrease the blood pressure. So even though it's up, down, but it's usually medication, but it depends on the aging is going higher, but we are decrease the blood pressure drop down. So we test outside with the African American lady, through white lady, and even this fat Spanish Hispanic lady to using the device. And then we can decrease this 161 to 69 just using the device 5 minutes. We can decrease this blood pressure drop down. But most important is we are not only drop down the systolic side, we also drop to the diastolic blood pressure drop down. So we also cannot stop the say to the stop the medication. So many people take medication. So we ask them, hey, take the medication with our device. What's going on? We want to see, and then we are more decrease the blood pressure drop down, no sparking, and then later they are decrease the dosage now. So device come out the market 4 months ago, and then but it's 4 months, and then many people tested it, they purchased, and then so up to now just we sold $200,000 revenue now. So not only just the device side, because many people test it, they want to see this, hey, Simon, I love to your device, but how do I know my blood pressure drop down? So our company developing the biosensor. So our next generation device, whenever people on hold the device, we check your blood pressure and then show to this device. Also all the data going to cloud base. So our company has a device division and also mobile division. So we can recording the daily, weekly, monthly data, and also data to send the data to the patient directly to their family member and the medical doctor. So up to today, we have iOS Android version already, and then depends. So we have English, Chinese, and Arabic version. So we have also hypertension, but we also have a headache and migraine device. Many women has a strong headache. They complain as a, hey, my headache coming. So please, all those medicine is still side effects, so I cannot using that I cannot take a medication. So we have also still another device. Using this device for the temporal area, so using the device for the temporal area, and then approaching to the, so you are blocked to the nervous system, and then we can decrease the headache. So we are testing with the other competitor. We are the 6 times faster to we can decrease or just eliminate the pain. So many women test now, and then they told me, so, wow, it's work for my body. So that's the reason is even though John Capital come to my office and then she used my device and then she invested our company. So our company advantage is to the we are the lining-based device, 5 minutes for easily using the device. So also very convenient user-friendly device to come out. So there's many people looking for this our device. So pretty much is our team member is an industrial expert because everybody has investor experience plus the serial entrepreneur experience. This is my 6th company, most headache for medical area, but I sold it to company already. Even though we have medical doctors, very strong Stanford medical doctor through the UCS medical doctor to supporting this project. Typically, one of the medical doctors, they like it, and then medical doctors invest in the project also. And up to today, we got the $3.5 million funded from this multinational because hypertension and headache is a global issue. So we got the fund from the China. I'm not a Chinese, but it's China, US, Hong Kong, Singapore, and also Korea, and also German capital to invest in this project. And we are working through this VA hospital, Romanian hospital, and the US hospital, through the also Middle East, Saudi Arabia, King Faisal Hospital is to our partner to clinical trial together with us now. So our goal is to this, up to today we got the $3.5 million funded it, and now we are open to the $7 million Series A funding. So we try to using this fund for this more additional certification plus to the supporting to marketing. And then our goal is very easy because within that 3 to 5 years, we try to sold the company, and then there is best way to return back the money to the world investor. That is our goal, but it's possible we can reach up to that goal because we have not only one device, we have a multi-device, and all the device already developed, so we can keep increase the company value up. So we are making this investor to happy for them. So now is a company valuation is a 50 million free money valuation. So we're looking for the 7 million. Anybody interested to invest in the Physio Cube, please let us know, or any partner, because our company strategy is very. We do not want to manufacture ourselves, but we also do not want to sell ourselves. That's the reason is because my whole advanced history is whenever just we try to sell directly for the unknown country, education fee is very expensive. So that's the reason is we try to save this marketing fee. So we sell to partner. So now we have a partner to Japan and Indonesia and also Russia. Recently, Kazakhstan partner wanna investing and then also distributing our device. That's what we are multinational. So we don't have a partner in China and Europe, not yet. So we are looking for the partner also. So device ready, and many people want, and then just if you guys have hypertension and headache, just send the email to me, and then we can discount to this RESI discount. So thank you. So any question? Yes.
Where are you? How are you manufacturing these devices now? Doing it yourself or contract manufacturer?
As I mentioned to you, is we do not want to manufacture, so we hire a contract manufacturer. So key component now we made from the Vietnam to send it to China. So we are assembled over there. But we found there is a transportation cost, and then plus the tax cost is also another issue. So we looking for this regional assemble manufacturer partner also.
And how much is one of these devices?
We sell out to 299 device. Yes. Sorry. Typically, I want to show this hypertension depends on this people. First time to user, and then up to 1 to 6 hours on hold down. But every day they using the device, this hour is longer and longer. So at least 10 days later is covered for more than 24 hours. So even though somebody asked me, so what, Simon, what's going on? If I stop using the device, what happened? So we found is to this slow, even though somebody forgot to using the device, and then at least 2-3 days okay. But 1 week later, slowly rebounds again. So your recommendation to hypertension device daily to use it. So any more question? Thank you.
Gary? Yeah. We're running ahead of schedule, so.
This is where I'm talking.
Okay, the next company to present in the medical technology pitch session will be Cell Constructs. I'd like to hand it over to Gary.
Thank you, Greg. Good morning. My name is Gary Robinson, and I'm representing a company called Cell Constructs for the CEO and chairman of the board, who's actually traveling after this week and couldn't make the meeting. I'm here really to talk about an innovative and disruptive product that's differentiated in the advanced wound care space. We believe we can change wound care globally. A couple things is, number one, in the United States, the advanced wound care markets, particularly skin substitutes, biologics, amnio products, are really making their money and getting used based on reimbursement, which we believe today is an unsustainable model. Globally, we see an even bigger opportunity based on the fact that advanced wound care products like these are not being used globally because of price, regulatory challenges, cultural or religious challenges. So we're going to talk about their product today.
Guys, slides.
Sorry, guys. CCI has developed a keratin-based wound product. The keratin, unlike biologics, it's a protein-driven product. There are 200 different proteins in keratin today, and they're making their advanced wound care dressing out of keratin. We're targeting the chronic and acute wound space, but also surgical wounds, particularly surgical site infections. And the key clinical benefits, strongly efficacious. It's not limited to size. Size is a big issue with some of the advanced products because they're limited to how big they can be. But this product, because of how it's manufactured, it can actually be made in very large size, which is great for the burn market as well. We believe what's going to move this product forward is radical healthcare economics. It's really about efficacy and cost. Because it's made from hair clippings, it's a very reliable and common supply of raw materials, so we're not restricted by that. And the manufacturing process is really 2 to 3 times, or 2 to 3 orders of magnitude lower than your skin substitutes, your amnios, and your biologics. So it's really it's efficacy over cost, which we believe can drive a major opportunity, not just in the US, but also globally. A little bit on the healing itself. We have a couple things here. One is, as I mentioned earlier, we've done clinical work with it compared to some of the amnios, skin substitutes in the market today, and we've done very well in some cases, even done superior results. We've done work in Mount Sinai Hospital, the University of Miami, Rutgers University, and other locations in the U.S. We're also looking to expand that into randomized clinical trials in the area for multiple wound types, DFUs, VLUs, and surgical wounds. This case study is an interesting case we did in Africa. With a patient who really spent 15 years with this wound. Really an incredible human story of suffering. 15 years, multiple hospitals, multiple clinics, multiple home treatments and remedies. And once we got the CCI product on this patient, it healed in 70 days. Which a lot of this, the fact that a lot of these advanced wound products aren't available in Africa. And so the success we had here was remarkable, and this woman's back to a normal life and a quality of life, as you can imagine, dramatically improved. If you look at the marketplace today, it's filled with gauzes at the very low end of the traditional phase, up to amnios, biologics, and skin substitutes. As you can see, the efficacy and cost spectrum here. Gauze products, gauze and tapes are very cheap, easy to use, where the amnio products are very expensive, but also heal wounds very well. We believe we can fit up in the upper left-hand corner of this graph because we believe at a low cost we can do what the amnio products do today at a much lower cost and a much better health economics results. Stage of the company, we have currently 3 products. First is Progenimatrix, which is an FDA-cleared, HCPCS code approved. We have a Q code now, which gives us reimbursement in the United States. And we're starting early commercializations in Q1 this year. We have 2 products. One, Gen 2, is under FDA review and currently submitting it. And we've submitted for the 510K, and it's under review today. The third product is an advancement on both of these 2, which would be a control release antimicrobial keratin-based product. And we're looking at currently in an FDA pre-FDA submission phase. A very experienced management team, good seniors, strong senior team, both scientific, regulatory, and manufacturing. Speaking of manufacturing, they have a GMP manufacturing facility outside of Atlanta, Georgia, that's scalable. So the nice thing about this is, unlike many startup companies, somebody else is not making their product, but they're making it themselves. We have a strong clinical advisory board full of top key opinion leaders. John Lantis at Mount Sinai, Rob Kurzner at the University of Miami, Bill Marston at University of North Carolina. We also have Oscar Alvarez at Rutgers, David Margolis at University of Penn, and Vicky Driver, who most recently was at Novartis in their wound care program. So we're very excited about the clinical board. All these clinicians have done clinical work with the product as of today. Opportunity in the U.S., You know, the chronic wound market's about a $25 billion market in the United States. We believe that probably the bigger market here is for surgical, in the surgical area, particularly in surgical site infections, which you know is a leading problem in hospitals today. And we believe with the Progenomatrix and the CCI products, we can eliminate some of that, at least reduce the cost. Globally, huge opportunity. Advanced wound care products aren't outside of the developed markets. They just aren't there because people can't afford them. We believe with our cost and efficacy model, we can bring advanced wound care dressings to the developing markets.
This whole drug importation thing, you know, it was motivated by drug pricing.
How are we going to commercialize it? Well, we'll be a hybrid model. In the U.S., we're looking for strategic partners who share our vision. We also have the opportunity to take it direct, and we could use a distribution direct model if necessary. In developed markets like the EU and Latin America and Asia, we use a distribution model. In the developing markets, we plan to use a single-payer government model, and that's the reason why Bert Jones, who's not here today, is meeting with governments in Africa this week, talking about that single-payer model, and is there ways the government can help us. The investment itself, the company's looking for $5 million. Uses of capital, one is to accelerate commercialization, first in the U.S. and then globally. We're also going to be doing some continual clinical work with the next-gen products as well as testing for the FDA. I've been involved in startup companies for about 25 years, and I know everyone in this room is looking for a de-risk investment. And we believe CCI has done that. They've cleared the regulatory hurdles in the U.S. and will clear CE mark. They have a reimbursement code in the U.S. which will be an attractive opportunity here in the U.S. They have a portfolio of products. They have a scalable manufacturing, and finally, they have a strong management and senior management team. So it's a great opportunity. And any questions from the audience? Finally, I want to thank the RESI group for letting us present today. It was a great opportunity for us, and thank you very much.